Hi dear students, I hope you all are fine at your home as usual. I think all are ready to learn today's new chapter. This chapter is India towards a new era. Our fourth chapter is India towards a new era. This is the last chapter in our part 1 textbook. This is the last chapter in our part 1 textbook. Before starting a new chapter, let's recall what we had studied in our previous class, in previous chapter. In previous chapter, we studied the resistance and the first war of independence. Do you remember? Yes. The British made them exploited in different fields. The farmers, weavers, tribals, etc. were exploited under the company rule, and the peoples put forward their agitation against company. Firstly, the farmers put forward their agitation. The company exploited the maximum resources of farmers. So the exploitation, the company adopted so many strategies. Then the exploitation made by the company rule, that is tribals. The tribals were the inhabitants of the forest areas. And to exploit the forest resources, the Britishers exploited the forest resources in tribal forest areas, and they constructed so many roads and railways in forest. Then their exploitation made weavers. In that time, there are so many agitation, there are so many protests of the people against the company rule. Firstly, we already studied that peasant revolt in 19th century onwards. There are so many peasant revolts started in different parts of India. The most one peasant revolt in Malabar region, that is Mappila Tenants revolt. It's known as Mappila rebellion. We mentioned about there are so many tribal groups started rebellions in different parts of India. Do you remember? Tell me one of the tribal group mentioned about our textbook. Yes, Sandals in Rajmahal Hill. It is one of the tribal rebellion against company rule. One of the important result of the that rebellion, it was the company exploitation, the maximum resources of tribal groups. Then after we studied about the 1857 revolt, the first war of independence. The main leaders of this revolt, that is sepoys. Do you remember their condition is very pathetic? Which are the conditions are followed by the sepoys? Tell me, which are the conditions? Yes, their condition is so pathetic. They lead a hardful life. They get meager wages, denying opportunity to live, poor quality food. These are the main conditions. And also, there are two rumors spread among the sepoys. That is the main cause of the 1857 revolt. We already studied that rumors in previous chapter. The 1857 revolt was completely failure because there is no mass support in that revolt, and also there was no coordination. Only this revolt was centered in North India. The English educated peoples were highly supported that revolt. They supported English, they supported the Britishers. At last, the 1857 revolt was failure. After the rule of India was direct control of the Queen of Elizabeth. There was a lot of administrative changes happened after the 1857 revolt. These are the main contents we studied about the third chapter. Today we start our fourth chapter, that is India towards a new era. India towards a new era. India towards a new era. Can you see a picture here? This is the picture in your textbook, page number 36. Can you see a picture? All of you look at here. This is an important evil practice existing in Indian society in ancient time. Can anyone say what is the system? Tell me, what is the name of the system? Yes, it is a Sati. It is a Sati. Can you say what is Sati system? What is Sati? In shortly, we say that Sati is one of the important evil practice among Hindu community, where a recently widowed woman, either voluntarily or by enforced by, immolate herself on her deceased husband's pyre. This is known as Sati. It is one of the important evil practice among Hindu community, either voluntarily or by force, immolate herself on her deceased husband's pyre. All of you read the description in your textbook, page number 36. Read well the situation, the evil practice of Sati system. A lowest community, that is the Baniya. It is one of the important lowest community in Indian society. In that society, highly influenced the Sati system. So, all of you read well the evil practice, Sati, that description. Okay? I say one more. I say that Sati is an evil practice among Hindu community, either voluntarily or by force, immolate herself, deceased husband pyre. That is known as Sati. Okay? Not only Sati system, but also in 19th century, there are so many social evil practices existing in Indian society. We already said that Sati is one of the important social evil practice. Not only Sati system, but also there are so many evil customs and practices existing in our society. I just write the names of the evil practice existing in Indian society. Okay? Child marriage, prohibition of widow remarriage, caste system, female infanticide, slavery, polygamy, untouchability, these are the another important evil practices existing in our society. In 19th century, there are so many evil practices existing in our Indian society, not only sati, but also there are so many other important social evils like child marriage, prohibition of widow remarriage, caste system, female infanticide, slavery, polygamy, untouchability. These are the another important evil practices existing in society. So, in 19th century onwards, there are so many agitation, protest against the evil practices. Social consciousness that developed due to English education and rational thinking led to these reform movements. The protest against the evil customs and superstitious freedom of women, spread of education and a sense of pride of Indian culture were the main features of Indian reform movements. What are the main features of Indian reform movements? The protest against the evil customs and superstitious freedom of women, spread of education and sense of pride on Indian culture were the main features of Indian reform movements. Okay? So, all of you take a notebook and write a question. What are the main evil practices existing in Indian society? Question is, what are the main evil practices existing in Indian society? What are the main evil practices existing in Indian society? Sati, child marriage, prohibition of widow remarriage, caste system, female infanticide, human sacrifices, untouchability, polygamy, etc. were the main evil practices existing in Indian society. What are the next question, what are the major features of Indian reform movements? What are the main features of Indian reform movements? The answer is the protest against the evil customs and superstitious freedom of women, spread of education and spread sense of pride on Indian culture were the main features of reform movements. And now we discuss each of the reform movements and its leaders. Okay? Now we discuss about the main reform movements and its leaders. Okay? I just show a chart for you, the main social reformers and its organizations. Okay? The most social reformer in Indian society, his name is Rajaram Mohan Roy, and he gained Western education and he strongly condemned sati, child marriage existing in Indian society. He was one of the important social reformer in Indian society and who gained Western education and strongly condemned the two important evil customs like sati, child marriage, etc. And he organized his institution. Its name is Brahma Samaj. And he says that all religions are basically same. He started one of the important institution. Its name is Brahma Samaj, and he says that all religions are basically the same. We already studied that Rajaram Mohan Roy strongly protest the one of the important evil customs, sati, and it's persuade the Governor General, British Governor General William Bentinck abolish sati. One of the important Governor General in British, that name is Lord William Bentinck. Lord William Bentinck abolish sati system. And he says that caste system is the disparity, is the only one factor is the disparity in Indian society. The one of the important social reformer in Indian society, that is Rajaram Mohan Roy, who gained Western education, and he strongly condemned sati system and child marriage in the Indian society. And is persuade, the Rajaram Mohan Roy is persuade the Lord William Bentinck, one of the important British Governor General in Britain, and he abolished the sati system in Indian society. And he against the caste system, and he says that only one of the important factor in the disparity in the society, that is caste system. Only one social reformer in Indian society, the main Indian social reformer, he is known as father of Indian Renaissance. Rajaram Mohan Roy is known as father of Indian Renaissance. He is known as father of Indian Renaissance. He is strongly opposed to sati, sati and child marriage in the society. So he organized Brahma Samajam, and he says that, and he propagates his ideology, says through the Brahma Samaj, and also he mentioned all religions are basically same. The caste system is the main problem, main disparity among the Indian society. He is the father of Indian Renaissance. The next social reformer in Indian society, that is Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Swami Dayananda Saraswati. He strongly opposed caste system and ideal worship in Indian society. He is the leader of social reformer. He is the leader of Indian Renaissance. He is the leader of Indian Renaissance. Leader is one of the important leader of Indian Renaissance. Swami Dayananda Saraswati strongly opposed caste system and ideal worship in Indian society, and he is one of the important leader of Renaissance in Indian society, and he organized an institution. Its name is Arya Samajam, and he gave the call, go back to Vedas. He says that go back, the peoples to go back to Vedas. Next important social reformer in Indian society, its name is Swami Dayananda Saraswati. He is the leader of Indian Renaissance, and he strongly opposed to the caste system, ideal worship in the society, and he organized Arya Samaj, and he gave the call, go back to Vedas. Okay? The first important social reformer in Indian society, that is Rajaram Mohan Roy, and he who gained Western education and strongly condemned sati, child marriage, etc. And he organized Brahma Samaj. All religions are basically same, and he strongly opposed the caste system. Caste system is the only disparity in the Indian society. The third important social reformer in Indian society, that is Jyotirao Phule. His name is Jyotirao Phule. He strongly condemned caste system and he promoted widow remarriage. He also strongly struggled for the caste system, and he promoted the widow remarriage. He organized an institution, its name is Satyashodak Samaj. Its institution name is Satyashodak Samaj. And he says that all the students have to get primary education up to 12 years. He says that the primary education gave up to weaker section of the woman, and all the students have to get up to 12 years to primary education. He organized the institution known as the Satyashodak Samaj. He argued that all the compulsory education should be provided up to the age 12, and primary education should be given the weaker section of the woman. Okay. The next social reformer, its name is Pandit Ramabai. He organized Arya Mahila Sabha. Its institution name is Arya Mahila Sabha. He gave more importance to the upliftment of women. He organized this institution, Arya Mahila Sabha. Through this institution, he gave importance to the upliftment of women. And social inequalities faced by women worked tirelessly for women's education and the empowerment of women. It is the main intention of the Pandit Ramabai. He organized the Arya Mahila Sabha. The main intention of the Arya Mahila Sabha, that is the upliftment of women, and social inequalities faced by women worked tirelessly for women's education and the empowerment of widows. All of you understood these are four important social reformers. The first one is Rajaram Mohan Roy. He organized the Brahma Samaj. Then Swami Dayananda Saraswati, he organized the Arya Samaj, and he gave code go back to Vedas. The next, Jyotirao Phule, he organized the Satyashodak Samaj, and he argued that the compulsory education should be given up to 12 years, the weaker section of the students, weaker section of the children. All the students have get the compulsory education up to 12 years, and also primary education should be given the weaker section of the woman. He organized the institution name is Satyashodak Samaj. The Pandit Ramabai is another important social reformer in Indian society. He gave more importance to the upliftment of women. So he organized Arya Mahila Sabha. He protested against the women faced by the inequalities, worked tirelessly for women's education and the empowerment of widows. The next social reformer in Indian society, that is Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan another important social reformer in Indian society. The name is Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. He gave very importance to modern education among Muslims. His movement is led the importance to spread among the modern education among Muslims. He organized an institution, a school. Its name is, he established a school, Muhammadan Anglo-Oriental College at Aligarh. Mohammedan he established one of the important college at Aligarh. That name is Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College. Later it became known as Aligarh Muslim University. Later it became Aligarh Muslim Sir Syed Ahmad Khan led movement to spread the modern education among Muslims. He established Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College at Aligarh. Later it became Aligarh Muslim University. He gave more importance to, he emphasized Hindu-Muslim unity. He says that both Hindu and Muslims breathe the air of India and drink the water of Yamuna and Ganga, and both are the products of Indian soil, so they live together and death. One of the important social reformer, its name is Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. He gave more importance to modern education among Muslims, so he started Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College at Aligarh. Then it later became Aligarh Muslim University. Its main intention, its main function, that is Hindu-Muslim unity. He emphasized Hindu-Muslim unity. So he says, the both Hindus and Muslims breathe the air of India, they drink the water of Ganga and Yamuna, and they were the products of Indian soil, they live together and death. The last and the final social reformer, that is Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda. The last important social reformer in Indian society, that is Swami Vivekananda, is not only a last social reformer. There are so many social reformer in Indian society. In your textbook that mention about the last important social reformer, that is Swami Vivekananda. He fought against the caste system, caste inequalities in Indian society, and he promoted education among women. Swami Vivekananda was highly opposed to the caste inequalities in Indian society, and he promoted Western education, and he promoted the education among education, not only Western education, common education among women. He organized an institution, it's known as Ramakrishna Mission. Ramakrishna Mission. He is one of the important disciples of his master Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and he propagated through his teaching, master's teaching through this mission. Okay? And he also emphasized social awakening, national spirit and self-respect among Hindus. He played an important role in awakening in the social national spirit and self-respect among Hindus. Okay? These are the main social reformers in Indian society. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Pandit Ramabai, Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Jyotirao Phule, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, then Swami Vivekananda, etc. were the main social reformers in Indian society. In your textbook, page number 39, can you see a table here? Can you see? In the first box, the leader of the Indian Renaissance. The second table, the second box, organization, and third, the major activities. So, all of you draw a table and the names, first one, the names of the leaders and its organization, then its activity. So, all of you write it. Okay. Then next we studied about the changing people. Changing people. The leaders of the social reform movement contributed to develop a vision emphasizing the universal brotherhood based on humanism that stood beyond the caste and religion. We already studied that the reform movements and its leaders developed a vision emphasizing the universal brotherhood based on humanism that stood beyond caste and religion. All the reformers gave emphasis to the importance of education and established education institutions. This in turn accelerated the progress of education in India. They reminded Indians of their rich cultural heritage and thereby developed self-respect and national pride. The activities of the leaders, the activities of the social reformers, it's reminded Indians of their rich in cultural heritage and thereby developed self-respect and national pride. So, next we studied about emergence of nationalism. What is nationalism? Nationalism. The reformers' activities, social reformers' activities, Indians of their rich cultural heritage reminded the Indians of their rich cultural heritage and thereby developed a self-respect and national pride. We already studied that the social reform movements and the leaders whom we discussed instilled a new spirit among Indians. We already studied the political and economic condition of the period of previous chapter, in the third chapter. Politically, India became the princely state, the Indian princely states became unified by Britishers. Economically, the British government created an anti-British attitude among Indians. And the spread of English education and the development of transport and communication brought the people together. These factors, after the 1857 revolt, created a national consciousness and made people think that beyond the same country. These factors helped the sense of unity among Indians. What is nationalism? The nationalism is the sense of oneness beyond religious, linguistic and regional diversity. That is nationalism. What is nationalism? It is the sense of oneness beyond religious, linguistic and regional diversity. Nationalism is the sense oneness beyond religious, linguistic nationalism is the sense of oneness beyond religious, linguistic and regional diversity. The next class we will discuss more about the formation of national diversity, formation of association related to nationalism. Okay, today wind up our class. In this class we studied the new chapter, the India towards a new era. In this chapter we discuss about the main evil practices among the Indian society, sati, child marriage, prohibition of widow remarriage, human sacrifices, etc. were the main social evil practices existing in society, and the main leaders fight against the evil practices. And we mention about the what is nationalism. Okay, so you already know the point. What is nationalism? Nationalism is the oneness beyond, sense of oneness beyond religious, linguistic and regional diversity. Okay, today I wind up a class. Thank you.